I think when we're young and don't know much at all, we don't know that our emotions are too much. It's just emotions. There's just an expression of it if it's there. And I guess sometimes what can happen is the learning that it's too much. What you feel is too much. And you're sort of, I suppose you believe that you are that without thinking about it, but I guess it's automatic. And so then you feel like too much. You feel like you should shut it down and mimic others, mimic adults that are extremely suppressed, but you don't know that yet. You're just kind of like, I mean, I guess you don't even think about it, but the body absorbs that it has to act a certain way, that it can't be itself, that it can't be honest. And so you learn how to be a certain type of way that isn't true. And you lose touch with yourself, I guess, and the body, and what was originally so natural for the body gets quite lost. And it didn't even start with an idea. It was even prior to that. It's just how the, if you want to call it, the nervous system felt like it needed to do that in order to survive and not get backlash and not be seen as a problem and be yelled at or be called names. Um, who wants that, you know? So you just become small. You just become a partial version of yourself. Maybe you accentuate aspects where the body is good at something. And so it becomes it overly prioritizes that and disregards other things. And you become very imbalanced. The body just gets a little lopsided, I guess, in all these intricate little ways. And it kind of just accumulates over time, becomes tighter and more rigid and more solid. And it feels even more like you, that you are this talent that you have, or you are this confidence that you exude, or you're this knowledgeable, intelligent person. And you gain a lot of value that way. And people admire you and praise you. And so it gets confirmed that maybe it's okay that I'm this way, even though something feels off and something feels suppressed and I don't feel fully myself. Yeah, I guess you keep losing yourself. You really don't know who you are, what feels true, what feels right. But yeah, I think during this unraveling, the unraveling of all of that accumulation and tightness and rigidity and knowing who you are from that place, the dismantling of all of that, there was a lot of doubt and a lot of feeling wrong and bad that I felt too much. And this thing that bothered me was still here and it just didn't go away. I felt bad that I had to express it for the thousandth time. I felt bad that I couldn't let it go. But I think simultaneously, it also felt like there was a collapse of something that felt like it knew what was right and wrong. And it felt like, well, if the body feels this way, I can try to deny it and I can try to say that what happened didn't define me. And I can try to understand the other person's perspective and where they came from and why they did what they did and said what they said and treated me the way they did. And I could look at all of that stuff and try to see if it eases something. And I did that. But sometimes it would still hurt, or I would still feel hatred and anger and disappointment that it was just a reminder of my past and how I was raised and how it was inevitable that I would be treated that way and I would be taken advantage of and I would give people the benefit of the doubt too many times and just allow them to hurt me. Not that I allowed it, but it's just, there was just so much. I don't know how to pinpoint it. There's just a lot of stuff, I guess. So the past couple years, I think it's been years that I had pretty bad neighbors. And what would arise, maybe like 2 years ago, I'm not sure, was this feeling of just being disrespected and not being, it felt like it was about me. It felt like, I'm just not, I'm easy to take advantage of. Like that's kind of how it felt because I think I felt that way my whole life. So that was maybe the perspective or interpretation of it at the time for a while. And it just didn't feel good. It made me want to rebel or like rage even more. And so I guess I wasn't that tactful in how I communicated with them because I didn't have any respect for them. I didn't, in a way, I didn't give a shit because they didn't give a shit about me. And so I guess my responses, because of how I felt and because it was probably triggering a lifetime of feeling stepped on or something like that, I just couldn't respond or act otherwise. It actually felt healthy to be disrespectful toward them. Not in a massive way. I was still relatively, I held back for sure. And I tried to be as respectful as I could, but I was also quite honest with how uh, disturbed I was constantly. And I did feel bad. I felt bad that I was complaining so much and I questioned like, is my body too sensitive? Like noise was so loud. Everything was so loud. And my body could hear and feel everything. And now that I look back, I'm like, no, they were extremely inconsiderate. And anybody would be annoyed by that. And no one should live like that. So I can see that clearly now. But there was a lot of doubt. Like, yeah, maybe my body's just in a really sensitive place right now. Maybe I am complaining too much. Maybe I am annoying and making too big of a deal out of this. So, anyways, like 2 years passed and I complained here and there. I would text them at 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning when they would be loud. And sometimes they would shut up and sometimes it would just continue. And so, it went through its own phases where it did get better at times. And so one time, what was the situation? I think they were vacuuming at 1:30 in the morning or something, and it is loud. Like we can hear everything. And so I messaged them and was like, can you not vacuum at 1:30 in the morning? And their response was kind of like, for your information, we had an emergency and we couldn't wait. Maybe you should be more understanding. And, I was kind of taken aback. I was like, I don't think I'm in the wrong here. I don't think that I'm like, you guys are crazy. But I think my body in general had calmed down enough or had released enough. And I didn't feel the way I did like 2 years ago or a year ago. It wasn't about me anymore. They weren't doing it because of me. I think that they're just like that. And they would maybe do that to anybody and see if they could get away with it, perhaps. So yeah, I was really nice in my response, which was different from the past 2 years. And I was like, okay, like if it was an emergency, which I kind of doubt, and why do you have to use a vacuum? You can like use a broom. But so I was really kind and was like, okay, if it was an emergency, like fair enough. I hope everything's okay. But I just have a really difficult time sleeping and resting at home, and it would be nice if I could do that. And I think there was something in my response where it was more understanding of, yeah, maybe they had an emergency. I don't know. There's no way that I could truly know. And maybe because of me being able to receive that more and also being honest about how I'm suffering a lot. Like, please just be considerate. And oh, I think I also said, I think I am being considerate. There are a lot of times where I just can't sleep because of the noise or things like that. So I don't know. I think they took the hint and it's been pretty good since then, which I'm really surprised about. And it's been a long time. Well, yeah, maybe I mentioned that because I think what was going on is that the body just really cannot lie in how it energetically feels the intensity of certain things. And it makes sense that noise would just just penetrate so deeply that there's nothing you could do about it. Like it's vibrationally felt. And so even where when I use earplugs and things like that, which I use every night, I try to make it less affect my body less in that way. But still, it's like noise can be felt vibrationally. And maybe it wasn't as noticeable before, but now the body has nowhere to hide. It's just so it feels what it feels and it's to a different degree. And so it will trigger so much more in a way to a different degree, to a different depth. And you might feel like I am too much because most people do not feel to that degree. The body is way too compacted with trauma and density and solidity. It actually almost is a protection in a way. It's not really, but yeah, it's kind of amazing that you grow up with all of these ways of protecting the body yourself from the insanity of the world that it literally becomes an energetic barricade of some sort. Like the body just freezes, it becomes numb. It doesn't really feel and register so much. And when the body is like thawing and melting and really feeling and sensing so much more, yeah, it can be overwhelming and it can feel like shit. How do I protect myself from how insane people are and also understanding where they're coming from, where I could be perceived as the crazy one and the one that's too much. And the one that's just like, deal with it. You know, you should be able to deal with it. Everybody's dealing with it. But I think it's nice to have at least that kind of context where you're probably not the crazy one, and the body, in a way, needs to go through this immense depth of sensitivity that to me is not sensitivity doesn't make sense anymore. It sounds like it almost sounds like there's something wrong with you for some reason. I perceive it as more like the body's just becoming fucking honest. It's becoming real. Like it's registering reality as it actually is. And it wasn't doing that before. It was completely detached and numb and empty, but not in a good way. It was just like a empty void where you just don't feel anything. And even though it can be intense, like you'll feel the intensity of stuff that you don't particularly prefer, but you will also feel the intensity of the other stuff too that wasn't possible to that depth. And it comes together, you know, it just can't be separated. So you're either just numb, the whole spectrum of the human feelings and emotions and the energetic vibration of everything is just numb. It's just not accessible or capable of being registered, or there's an openness and all of it is accessible and not all at once. There are just, I guess, layers and depths, and it's in a way so incremental, and you'll have access to it all. And so that's why you can't identify as a good person or a bad person or a kind person or someone who could be very honest and show aggression or demand better treatment. Because the truth is, there are a lot of shitty people out there who will take advantage without even consciously, maybe intentionally doing that. But, you know, there's a lot of damage and harm that can come from a certain idea of how you think this should appear. Like you should act peaceful and calm and be kind and be compassionate and understanding. And okay, great. Yeah, that's an aspect of what can arise at times if it's natural. But also, a lot of people are so fucked up that you shouldn't be kind to them. It's artificial. You're being fake. Like, be real, be honest. They're harmful to be around. They're harmful in how they treat you and what they said to you. That's not okay. The body knows that that's not okay, but the person and the spiritual person will deny that and take it. So there is deeper understanding of humans and the wide array of how they can act and why and where it might be coming from generally, and an understanding of all of that. But the response of the body is the response of the body. It just doesn't fucking lie. It is that personal energy that's contracted and desperate to be a certain way and appear a certain way, that can't help but deny the body constantly and be so desperate to just act in a way that's more acceptable and more expected. But I remember there was a period where I was like, I think I'm the meanest I've ever been. I think I'm the angriest I've ever been. Because yeah, I was unable to be the good girl, the kind girl, the a girl, submissive, gentle, peaceful. I just wasn't able to. It just was what it was in the moment. And it never meant anything. It never said that I'm that. It just was what it was. And it was probably, it made sense within the circumstance. And that's freedom. That's fucking freedom. In a way, this is so much more simple. This is so simple. But the complexity is all the fucking nonsense and bullshit that's out there. And probably especially in spirituality, it will fuck you up. It will just resonate with that good girl, good boy vibe. Just listen, listen to the teacher, mimic the teacher, do what they say, all of these practices and ways of appearing. Yeah, you will be the most lost in spirituality. There's so many concepts, so many ideas, and ways of getting really stuck without you really knowing. It prevents movement. I just feel like the human body is so intelligent. Like it just knows. Like you just didn't need to be told all these different things of how to live and how to exist and how to act. And I just feel like this body, because it wasn't tied to all of those things anymore, not that there couldn't be like a reminiscent fucking tyrant that was just like, you got to do it this way. That's bad if that arises. That came from everything, my parents, spirituality, all society, just all of it. But more and more, it just felt like the body was learning itself what to do in this situation with what was here, what was honestly here, and it being okay. Because if it's honestly here, then that's the only reality. I cannot force it to be otherwise. And that is how it was burning in the body. Not that I knew that, but there was a full allowance of it all. And acting accordingly based on that rather than that's trauma. Just without the trauma, I would act this way. So then I'm going to act that way and just deny what I actually feel. That was the old way of acting. And it's just not as possible anymore. I feel like when you're like getting more and more in touch or less separated from the body, I think that's great. It's like really good steps, I guess you can say. But within those steps, there are places where you can land where you absorb concepts and ideas and how to function from that place. But then it keeps like notching closer and closer to this, just this. And you just keep having to let go of everything that you accumulated that may or may not have helped you at that place, but the death keeps happening. And so none of it is real. None of it is accurate. None of it is truth. None of it is perfectly aligned with where you are now. And so you are kind of constantly adjusting and seeing what feels true right now. And just by saying that, you can kind of sense how you do have to learn how to more and more stand on your own and let go of all these handholds. But what happens in that is like the body becomes so strong and powerful that, and not in the way that the person might assume. it just keeps learning and but for itself, which is so rare. And it's like that's where the power comes from, that it learned by itself, it saw by itself, it made that mistake by itself. And the depth of learning that came from that is unmatched and will forever be understood from a place that is so much more. It really lands. There's like this artificialness that we learn in all these different ways of when you just listen to someone and then you do, and you're living from that place of, oh, okay, you're telling me that this is the proper way to act and what to do in this situation and how to be a good person and how to be a more spiritual person. That's a very fake way of living, but like everybody's living that way. And so uh, you're familiar with that. And only with this contrast now, where I don't have to listen to anybody anymore. Well, I can't. There's a huge contrast now of, okay, that's a particular way of functioning that I can't do anymore. But that was my life for the past 30 what years. And so now it's like, it's not that I know, it's not that I know for sure exactly what to do all the time, but there's such a attunement with the body that the body is the only thing that's leading now. And there's such an unbelievable trust in it that it's like, if it feels unsafe, I will not take actions to override that. It is part of my decision making. The unsafety is like, it's just telling me something, and it's true. It's very true. It's not that I have to try to be feel more safe and to trust more and to rush into something to try and feel more safe, or it's just all these clues that are felt and seen. And I don't like this word because it really honestly doesn't make sense to me, but the body is so respected. Like it's the only thing that is honest and true. And so nobody else's opinions and advice and accumulated knowledge that is from the insanity of the masses, that is not prioritized. That's like, it just can't be. I have all the information here. I have everything that's needed here. So how can you even outsource anymore? And I don't say that rigidly. It's not like I don't ever listen to my sister or my dad or, some people that I trust to certain degrees, but there is also an understanding like they have their own life experience and perceive things a certain way and have their own limitations and traumas and interpretations. And there's so much stuff, and culturally, just societally, just if you feel like you are a man, you perceive things a certain way. If you're a woman, then it's like there's so much there. So I don't trust it, but I can listen, and sometimes I can appreciate where it's coming from, and also it can give me some perspective too, but it's always secondary. But yeah, it's so refreshing to not be a woman, to not be Asian, to not be 37, to not be anything in particular. Like I'm not, the body's not identified with that. It's not true. It's not real. It's not solid. All of that conditioning has just dissolved the past couple years where you can't function through all of these filters of societal conditioning. That doesn't exist here now, but I understand it. And the deconstruction of not knowing anymore that I'm a woman and an Asian or a girl, that didn't come from inquiry or it didn't. It was it was like a I mean, I can't even concisely, it's impossible to concisely say exactly what it was, but there was just a constant falling back into this. And this cannot be known or described or identified with. It can't be solidified. The body couldn't function that way anymore. It was rewiring itself to be more in the unknown rather than knowing exactly what I am, who I am, how I should act and behave. And so it completely changed how the body perceives itself and others. And it wasn't solid humans and beings anymore. I don't know what I was looking at. I didn't know what this human body was. It was just free to be and act how it was right now. And that isn't a woman. It just made no sense. And also, I think a part of that was like the sexual energy was depleting. It wasn't linear, but it just went to zero to the point where that has an aspect of being a woman as well. Like how the sexuality and the objectification of the body and all of that provided a sort of solidity as well. So then when it went to zero, that was gone. I wasn't like a sexual object. And that doesn't just apply to women. That applies to everybody. I was also objectifying men. Everybody does that. It's like, and there are different degrees where it's really disgusting, but at a foundational level, that's unavoidable for the human with that personal energy that feels solid. It's like it's just objectifying everything, itself and others. But I couldn't do that anymore. I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at, what the fuck was attractive, and but it was so refreshing. It was just gone. It was blank. And so now that sexual energy can be here, but it's not the same at all. And it's uncluttered by some of the stuff that I mentioned. It's so fascinating. Everything's so fascinating. But yeah, it feels like I can rediscover sexuality from a place where I'm not ruled by it, controlled by it. It's not filled with trauma. It's not informed by trauma. It's not intertwined and amplified by trauma. And I feel like it is a lot less about feeling validated through that way because you just kind of don't need sex anymore. It's not important like it used to be. So it's not something that needs to happen. It's a biological functioning of the body that is a lot more muted than before. And not that it can't be intense, I guess, but there isn't the need for it to happen. But that in itself is like so free too, because it can just then be what it is and you don't have to act on it and involve someone else or get into strange situations. It's more like if it's really worth it, if it really feels right and true and safe and there's just kind of a compatibility that feels grounded and healthy, then okay. But otherwise, if that's not the case, if I don't feel good, if I don't feel comfortable, if I don't feel like I could be myself, or then it's such an easy, like, yeah, no thanks. And that's so nice because it was never like that before. It was always like, I could compromise myself. I could, we could try to make it work. I could be who you want, and it only lasts for a while. Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Good.
Sorry, I'm gonna unpin myself. Okay. Yeah.
I loved what you said. Made
Yeah.
me think about a whole lot of stuff. One was I grew up my my dad was a minister, a preacher man, and you know, we had sort of we tried to portray the perfect family, where everybody was in their role and doing what they were supposed to do and um I remember my mom, we have this saying in the South that's it's not about your appearance, but if you're acting out or being not so nice, they call it ugly. Don't be ugly.
Oh no.
Yeah,
That's so bad.
it is terrible. And I remember so distinctly my mom would, whenever I would express anger or be depressed or anything that wasn't like happy and agreeable, it was don't be ugly, you know.
That's
And
so
that is just,
heartbreaking to hear.
it's so heartbreaking. It just makes you feel so small and just like, well, I guess my true feelings aren't valid and
Well, it makes you
not
feel ugly. That is even worse
ugly,
than,
literally. Yeah,
yeah. I've
right.
never heard that before. And that's like, that's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. Yeah. It has a very chilling effect.
Yeah.
Um, and the suppression, you don't want to be ugly by any means necessary. So you just like stuff it
No.
down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so there was a lot of that. And I also remember she told me that she thought that maybe I was bipolar because I was either
Oh.
really happy or really upset about something. So that was another like way of like, oh, that's too much,
Mm-hmm.
whatever I'm doing, whatever emotion I'm having is
Yeah.
over the top. So yeah,
You
again,
know,
suppress.
yeah, you know what's ironic about that? Because I grew up similarly. It
Hmm.
intensified the anger and the frustration, and because you're suppressing it all the time, so it like comes out even more strongly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's so intense. You just I think it gets that gives us the fuel to be even more twisted in the
exactly.
body,
Absolutely.
you know? Um, was the other thing I was thinking about. So that was more. And then she also told me like I would like having boyfriends. I was always trying to get a boyfriend. I was always chasing a boyfriend down, like a
Uh-huh.
pit bull. Like I was very aggressive.
Uh-huh.
Um, and she would tell me, I wouldn't say maybe not aggressive, more like assertive. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't the normal girl who kind of played hard to get her coy and it just kind of waited for the guy to come to me. No. Mm-mm. Um, I just told him, I like you and this is what I want. And
Nice.
I'm, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always tell me, and I would be so unlucky in love. I would be like, they would break up with me, or they would say, that I was too masculine or like assertive, aggressive,
Mm.
and not want to be with me because of that. Or I guess I wasn't submissive enough or whatever.
Mm. Right.
Um,
Demure and like,
yeah,
just
just like,
tone it down. Just
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And so she would tell me, Rebecca, if you want to be good at love, you have to play the game. You have to
Wow.
act,
Oh,
more
hard to get and
hard
don't
to
be so
get, play hard to
direct.
get.
Yeah.
Exactly. Don't be so
Yeah.
direct. And so I tried that,
Be
and it was just
mysterious
so,
and elusive and
yeah.
yeah.
And it also opened me up to these situations where um, I didn't feel safe, and there was not a meeting of the minds. It was like, because I was kind of trying to tamp myself down to fit into what the boyfriend wanted or the guy wanted. And so it wasn't a real honest and open exchange. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that would make it unsafe, and there would be a lot of motives that I couldn't read or didn't want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, that was another like really fucked up thing that just made me kind of contorted.
Yeah, that's a good word. It just makes you
Yeah,
so twisted because it's so
yeah,
honest to be like, to simply say, I like you. Do you like
yeah,
me?
exactly.
Instead of, yeah, just playing these sly, strange,
Stupid games. Yeah.
yeah.
And I would watch her like work angles with my dad, like make it his idea, do this, do that. And I was just like, I hate that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I never found it honest. But then I started doing it because
Yeah.
I needed a boyfriend, I guess. I don't know. Um,
Yeah. And little do you know that probably, I mean, it depends. Everyone's so immature and stuff, but to have someone be okay with the simplicity and the honesty and the openness, that would have actually probably weeded out a lot of the strange people who were unable to do that, who wanted you to be a specific way, who expected you to be more normal,
yeah,
and follow the masses. It could have weeded out those strangers,
it
strange
definitely
people.
would have like weeded out a vast majority of them, I'm sure. But then I would be like bending myself into pretzels to try to meet their expectations, I guess, of what they wanted in a woman or a girlfriend
Hmm.
or wife, whatever. I've been married
Yeah.
a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, there was that. And then lately I've been going over to this abandoned building near my house. First it's right beside the graveyard, which is kind of funny because I
Mm.
would go to the graveyard and sit there. But then I looked over and I was like, these buildings look really interesting. So um, I could tell they were abandoned. So I drove over there one day and I got out and they're like so cool. They're just, I don't know what they were, some kind of industrial thing, but they have these barrel ceilings, high ceilings, and like now there's like vines growing in there. And it's just like the space is so, I just felt so at home there, and I was just like hanging out
Oh,
there.
nice.
And but then I started having all this like really anger energy. And I took my friend over there, and when she was visiting, she's like, I don't like it here. This is bad energy. And I was like, oh, you're not ready for this. That's what that is.
Hmm.
I didn't tell her that, but anyway, I went back like the day after she left, and there's a lot of wood and like rocks and stuff, and um, just metal and stuff, and so I just had like my own personal rage room in there, and I just like threw rocks and
Oh, nice.
wood and bricks and stuff. Yeah, that was very satisfying.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
Yeah, that was really satisfying.
I'd
I
like to
yelled,
join you and
yeah,
just throw
absolutely. We could have a good old time.
Yeah.
I was trying to get my friend to do it, but she was like, she didn't want to be in there. What if there's someone in here?
Yeah, there was a period during this where I was like, I feel like there should be more soundproof screaming and like destroying things kind of places, especially in cities. Like it should just
Yeah,
be available for people to smash things and
absolutely.
scream and yeah.
I totally agree. That would be so helpful. I,
Hmm.
I saw where they're having scream clubs now. People are getting together and screaming. I think it's pretty cool. Um, but it's kind of hard to like force it. Like,
Exactly.
well,
Yeah, that sounds
scream.
culty. It sounds strange.
Yeah. Like you scream, but only if I can scream too. Yeah.
We have to
Um,
gather each
that's
other
right.
up and just like
At
scream
this
together.
time, at this point, even if you're
Yeah.
not angry.
Yeah.
Um, um, so yeah, I did that. But the reason I went there was because I was walking through the park with my dog, and this man was there, and he had his two dogs, and he had let them off leash so he could
Mm.
throw the ball and they could run and get the ball.
Hmm.
And he didn't have them under voice control. So like one of the dogs ran over to where I was, and there was a ditch in between me and my really steep ditch. But the dog was barking at my dog. My dog
Hmm.
is not great with other dogs.
Yeah.
So I was standing in front of her and trying to protect, but the dog couldn't get through the ditch. If the dog could have gotten over the ditch,
Yeah,
I,
that would have been
I
bad.
it would have not been good.
Uh-huh.
So uh, I was staring at that guy and just like boring holes in him with my eyes. And I I said, you need to get your dog on leash. What are you doing? I'm like, um, you should not have your dog off leash. He's treating it like his own personal dog park, basically, like
Mm.
selfish, and entitled, and not thinking about other people and what situations could be dangerous. And I
Hmm.
just told him off, and he's like, I thought you were going
Nice.
to say something like that. I was like, yeah, you're damn right, because it's true. And he's like, and then I was like, especially, I walked off and I like turn around and I'm like, especially if you don't have them under voice control. And I just like, and
What's
yeah, I
voice
let him have
control?
it. Huh?
What's voice control?
Oh, just being able to call your dog and they will come to you instantly.
Oh, okay. I
Mhm.
see.
But he was like, come here, come here. And the dog was like, rah, rah,
Yeah,
wandering
yeah.
over. So he did not have it. Like,
Gotcha. Mm.
right.
It's dangerous for sure.
It's
Yeah,
very dangerous. It's very,
it
for his
is.
dog too. Like, what if my dog would have ripped his dog to pieces or, not that she
Mm.
would, but she's old, but it could cause a big problem. I said, this could cause a big problem.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I was like, and then after that, that's when I went to the rage thing.
Mm,
So I
mm,
let that all out. But then I was thinking about it for 2 days after that, and like justifying my position. I was right because, da, da, da. And I'm like doing this to myself, talking to myself. I'm not like talking to him, telling him how I was right. It's all about,
yeah.
well, was that justified? Is it okay that you were so sharp with him, so mean,
Mm,
and blah, blah, blah,
mm-hmm,
because the good girl thing. Um,
mm.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in that situation, it's like it makes sense if that ditch wasn't there and if that dog would have attacked your dog or like vice versa, or
yeah,
yeah, it can possibly get very bad. So
yeah.
I could
And
understand.
he's like, well, I said, well, my dog's not good with other dogs. And he goes, well, my dog is. And I said, that's nice, but it's not going to help anything.
Hmm.
And he was just trying to like justify why he was doing that. He was just being a selfish prick, was what it was.
Mm,
So anyway, yeah. So I was right and I knew it, but it was very uncomfortable, after I did that. And I was just like, was I right? Was I wrong? Blah, 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 blah. So yeah. But I got through that. And then there's one other thing I want to talk about. Was like a long time ago when I was following a spiritual teacher, I described to him a situation with my older daughter, where um, she was kind of taking advantage of me. Like I would clean the kitchen, and then at night she would come down and cook this big meal and leave her dirty ass dishes all over the place
oh
and like
man.
grease all over the countertops. And I would come down in the morning to get my breakfast, and it would be just like disgusting and nasty. And I was so mad.
Hmm.
And but she was depressed, and she only ate at certain times, and she only had so much energy, and blah, blah, blah. And I told myself all these things why it was okay, that she was
Hmm.
doing that, and that it was okay that I didn't have to say anything about it. And so I described this whole situation to him. He was like, well, you just have to accept it.
Oh
Uh,
no.
yeah.
What the
And
fuck?
yeah. And I was like, it didn't feel right, but I was like, well, I guess I have to accept it, because there's another thing about being a mother where,
Uh-huh.
you just have to bend over backwards to help your kids. And like, especially
Uh,
if they're like having a hard time themselves and blah, blah, blah. And uh, it's just so,
yeah, that's sad.
it's like this box that you're in where you feel like you have to act a specific way,
Yeah. I mean, what
because
an arrogant prick for thinking that he knows your
I
whole
don't know.
history with your daughter and what you should do in that instance, and like that a certain response and reaction is appropriate. Like, what the fuck? Who
Yeah.
cares? Honestly, it's like if you want to tell her, please clean up after yourself.
Oh, I had told her that, and I had gotten upset with her, but I didn't want to put her out, like of the
Mm,
house or anything. She was old enough to leave, but I tried those things, and I was like, what am I going to do now? He's like, well, I guess you're just going to have to accept it. And I'm just like, ugh. But I could have gotten angrier. I could have tried lots of different things, other than just like repress and accept.
hmm.
Um,
The truth is, though, these are potentially just ongoing difficulties where you're allowed to feel frustrated and not accept it. Like,
yeah,
I think that if so-called acceptance happens, it happens on your own term, not because you're trying, just because something gave up and it's like it tried everything and it's like, I can't fucking fight anymore. It's not even worth it. But
yeah.
that's genuine, not like a
Not like go ahead and repress it and just, yeah,
yeah, not like,
pretend like,
oh, okay, it feels wrong, but you're fine. You can you can
exactly.
do whatever you want.
Put the handcuffs on me. Yeah. Um, yeah. So all of those things like came to mind when you were talking about having to act a certain way and be a certain way.
Hmm.
I feel really a lot of that with there's a lot of content about parental estrangement right now, you know, and they're always talking about how um whatever it is that the parent is always wrong, that the parent is the one who caused the problem. Maybe the parent didn't do the best job or whatever, and then I've seen parents come and say, "Well, they're full of shit and I did the best I could," and they just kind of dismiss it, and that's not what I think is like cool, but
Mm.
also
Yeah, how can you put it all on the parent?
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's it just sort of kind of it's another suppression thing where
You're not
you know
allowed to be like a flawed human as your
yeah,
child
you're not
is.
right, you had to be like the perfect parent, you had to do everything like 100% correctly in order to
Right.
earn your child's um I don't know.
Yeah. That is such a bummer. I've heard something similar where my sister sent me something and that a lot of people are not wanting to or wanting distance from their parents because they weren't emotionally met. And
Yes.
um yeah, but another part of me when she sent that, I was like, but that's everybody's story. Yes, I
Mhm.
agree that there are degrees of
Yes.
harm where when it's abusive, sometimes it is really healthy to be like, you cannot be in my life.
Yeah.
But I think for the most part, like we've all been suppressed. We've all been
Yeah.
denied. We all weren't unconditionally loved because
Yeah.
it's um honestly, I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't even know if that's possible. Like, even if I had a child, uh, I think that the child would eventually have moments where they interpret my behavior as dismissive or neglectful or hurtful. Like,
Yeah.
but like, did I do that on purpose? Like,
Yeah. Right.
you can't be
I mean,
perfect. What does that even
no.
mean?
Yeah, and it makes you kind of go over your performance as a parent over and over and over. What did I do? How did I do this? Why did I do that?
Yeah.
And again, it's another suppression of like, I should have done better. Should have been better,
Mm.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in also in reality, if you like looked at certain situations where you felt like you could have done better and then you take into account what you were going through and how you felt and it you just couldn't act or think or see or feel differently than how you did at
Right.
that time. It just makes sense like, well, I think that was the only outcome.
Yeah.
And I might have learned from it afterwards, but like that's afterwards. That's just how learning happens.
Yeah.
I couldn't be different in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just a lot of guilt and shame around, that. Um, I mean, I feel like I've worked through a lot of it, but it's still there for sure. And then I think about, like how angry I was with my dad and how I didn't speak to him for like a whole year.
Mm.
And
It makes sense though.
yeah, and it makes sense, but like he was the same way. He didn't know what he didn't know. He was like, it was from his perspective, he did the best he could, blah, blah, blah. So it was like everything is shown from so many different angles. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
Like now I'm watching my older daughter. She's also estranged from her father right now.
Mm.
And I can see her point of view. I can see how he doesn't understand why. I can see, it's just like all these different. viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah. So you kind of eventually, if you look at it long enough, it kind of cancels everything out,
Nice. Exactly.
you know? It's
Yeah.
like, well, this is just what happened because of A, B, C, D. You know, there's so many different variables.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah.
And the only thing that really can soften is that a specific outcome is better than another outcome. Like it should have gone a different way. It's like the gravity of that. It's like, no, there was never a perfect way. There was never gonna be that.
You could never orchestrate it
Yeah.
to make it work, make it right.
Yeah.
Nobody can.
No. And it's very artificial if you continue to function that way because it is another denial and suppression of just trying to make it appear a certain way rather than actually truly being honest with how you feel, how they feel, um,
Yeah.
and letting it be
What it is.
not ideal. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be.
No.
But my ex, now that's a different story because he is completely 100% guilty.
He does sound difficult. Yeah.
I haven't gotten that one yet. Even though I look at it and I'm just like, okay, some of the things that he did to me or the ways he behaved toward me, I've done to other people, you
Like
know.
what?
Okay, well, do you really want to know? I
Yeah.
don't want to talk about
Oh, you don't
it.
have to say. It's okay.
Well, I have cheated on before.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'll tell myself I cheated because I was, I have all these reasons that I did that.
Well, you could say the circumstances are different. It's really
Yeah,
hard to say that one person's cheating is exactly the same as.
yeah. It wasn't the same because, like, I wasn't, for instance, when I cheated, I was on my way out of the relationship. The relationship was in shambles, and
Mm-hmm. Already
and there was
kind of just
it was
broken.
dead, but there was like a period where I was like lying, but it was a very short period. Um,
Mm,
as opposed to somebody who's just like cheating because they can, or
yeah.
they just want
Yeah,
some
they're being a
different,
lot more reckless and sneaky and
yeah. And they're actively lying for years and years and years.
yeah, that's totally different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is totally different.
That's a type of deception that goes on that lingers for so long and then you have to rehash your actual memories and feelings that you had toward them for years and years because it was all a lie,
Yeah,
but you only discover it after you find out the facts. So it's
yeah,
like it does something immense to the body that's really harmful rather than your relationship is already dead, you're emotionally not connecting, it's already not going to happen, and then you end up doing something with someone else, and
yeah.
that's totally different.
That is totally different. Yeah. But there's still shame around it, and it's like, I don't know.
I can
I just get,
understand.
it's just hard to reconcile everything. It's just like, it's never gonna, the ledger sheet is never gonna balance.
Mm,
I get to just go over and over and over. But, yeah, and I just had to accept the fact that, like, everything that I thought was happening in that relationship was not real, you know?
mm. Yeah, not what you thought it was.
It's not what I thought it was at all. it was very hurtful and very,
That's the harm of living with someone and sharing a life with someone who can't be honest with themselves and is willing to lie to themselves, and then it will permeate to everybody else. It's like you're all living a lie, basically. And that's not uncommon.
no, it's very common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more the norm, actually,
And
unfortunately.
it's actually the norm. You're right. It really is.
You're
Yeah.
living a fake life. Most people are living a fake life. They don't actually want to know the truth
Yeah.
of what's really going on. Um, I think I've cheated one time, but I it was similar where I was so emotionally distraught. Like the relationship was so bad and I
Yeah.
was so crushed and depressed and neglected and dismissed and abused. And so then there was one drunken night where I ended up kissing someone, but it didn't mean anything. I was just so miserable, like to a degree that I've never been that miserable in my life. And it was already at the end where I was just like, I can't even exist with this person. I'd rather die.
Yeah.
Um, so I never really felt that bad about it, honestly. I don't think I even told him, but it was because
That's nothing. That's nothing.
I was just so, I've never felt that horrific in my life, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, someone else gives you like attention when you're at the very low point in your life and you're just like anything to get this out of my head, just like any kind of,
Yeah.
yeah, I could see that. Don't worry about it.
No, I don't. I don't
No.
even think I carried that, honestly, because I'm not, that's not the person that I am. Not that that really makes sense, but like I would never ever do that
Mhm.
unless I think that circumstance in particular was just like he was horrible to me, like unbelievably horrible. I've never been treated that horribly. And I still liked him, like I
Yeah.
still,
Don't you
yeah.
hate that when that happens?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it creates such a split when
It
you're
does.
still like infatuated or you really want something to work, but it's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
And not that he was horrible. It's just that he had so much trauma and inability to look at himself and reckless and no impulse control and yeah,
Yeah.
very aggressive.
Sounds familiar.
Hmm. Yeah. I hope you don't feel bad.
I mean, I still do a little bit, but what can you do about it? I'll get over it eventually.
Hmm.
It was what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, the human body can only take so much. When it has so much against it, is so much
Mhm.
pressure and so much suffering and so much intensity. It's like it's understandable that things will happen that you wouldn't do normally.
Yeah.
It's not a defining characteristic of anything. It's just like under that kind of intensity and pressure and it's like, yeah, that can likely happen. It's
Mhm.
understandable.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much for sharing. So sweet to see you.
You too.
Hey, Sarah.
Very lazy today, but it's nice to be here with you all.
Yeah. Oh, I
Mm.
love your glasses. So
Thanks.
cool.
Thank you. I it was fun hearing you talk about your neighbors. I had a recent experience. So I have the loudest neighbors I've ever had, um and it's the woman. It's she sounds very free in a way. Like she'll when she's mad, she'll scream, she'll break things. When she's happy, she like that. She goes around the house,
Uh-huh.
runs around. She's like a little kid. Um and yeah, so I can see how uh like the experiences that arise in this body don't actually have anything to do with her or them. Uh and they do sort of kind of like what you were saying. Like early on when they first moved in, the boyfriend like apologized for her. Like he knew that she's super noisy, you know? So it's like it's true that she's super noisy.
Yeah.
Um, but also there's not for this body, there's not like a consistent response. So the response is not actually based on them, you know?
Mm,
So it's funny to watch. And yeah, and the
that's a
other
good way of saying it. Yeah.
yeah. And the other day, uh there was this crazy confluence of events. So it was a day where this body was just like, nope, no thanks to this the noise. And and then feeling the freedom to just say so. Like just it was so obviously not personal about them or me. Um,
Mm,
it was like it's so weird, but there are all these ways that I'll just say this, I was conditioned to think about what sexuality and sexual pleasure was. Movies, fairy tales from childhood that are so disturbing, these like,
mm.
my God, these fairy tales, they're so
Yeah.
creepy.
Very disturbing.
So disturbing. And then the rom-coms and then, billboards and, all the things. Um, all these ideas that are supposedly about sex or about relationship, whatever. But I had like one of the best orgasms ever about asking them to be quiet. It
Oh,
was
nice.
like like the channel, it's not about the fantasy, it's about like a clear channel,
Nice.
right? The body was
Beautiful.
just clear,
Right.
right? And that's what made the body feel so pleasurable.
Mm, mm-hmm.
And so it was just a totally different kind of orgasm. It was hilarious to see that that's what like got me off or whatever. It was really funny. Yeah.
That's so beautiful and it makes so much sense to me
Mhm.
though, because something probably was released and then it was
Yeah.
like, yeah, the body is just so open. Yeah.
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 Yep. Yeah. And then also it was like the whole body was involved to the point where there's no body
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no restriction like there was before or
Yeah.
containment.
Yeah.
It's just it is really the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not there. It's great.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, fascinating, fascinating. And then to like I didn't know it was going to happen, but then sharing about it at Sex Addicts Anonymous meetings is also really funny. Like it's very funny to um
Yeah, people must have thought that was strange to hear.
yeah, it's there's like it's another set of co-created rules. Like it's just another algorithm, like being involved in a spiritual community or whatever, or you go to a university and there's like an algorithm
Right.
that everybody's kind of participating in. And this is like an
Mm,
outlier, in the algorithm.
mm,
And as it's being said, it's known to be that.
Mm,
And then watching like the restructuring, like the people that come closer and the people that go further away,
nice.
you know,
That's
and
so well said. I
it's
love
just
it.
always been the case. It doesn't matter there's always going to be a no, a neutral or mixed and a yes. Like,
Exactly. It
yeah,
never mattered.
it never mattered. It never
No.
mattered. So yeah, so that's pretty fun. Yeah.
Those intricate things though, where there's like a subtle rigidity of how you were or how you should be, but then it just kind of collapses and then you are just how you are in the moment. You do recognize like what comes in and what goes out, not in an
Mhm.
important or meaningful way, but it's like, oh, yeah, it just never fucking mattered. Like it just moves on its own
Yeah.
and it's fine.
Yep. It's all good. Yeah. So it's just, as can happen, it's just kind of doing that more and more. It's been
Yeah.
happening lately too around questions in time or questions of like dates or number. Like it just doesn't, the body is just free to not have to do that anymore. So if somebody asked me, like yesterday, somebody asked me what year I graduated, and I just said, "This is how old I am. If you want to figure it out, you can do the math." I don't, that has no interest for, I don't, like, if you want to know, you can figure it out. Like, there's no expending energy in,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah, or where I was at a time, or yeah, or like somebody, I have all this shit in my house that used to maybe mean something, or I don't know. And I had like this green Tara picture or whatever. And this guy was asking about it. And it was about to like say words heard or read somewhere. And there's like, I'm not gonna say things I don't know anything about. Like you can Google it. Like, like I don't like, and that won't be information. It'll seem like information, but it's not. It's not anything. So like, yeah, there's like no energy to like regurgitate uh, like sentences collected about things. I don't know.
Mm,
Yeah, so that's been nice. Yeah. Mhm.
nice.
Mhm. Yeah, and then uh with the mom, I don't know if I'd share this here. Oh no, probably not. I talked to her since then, but oh yeah, because I called her on her birthday and she, like a lot of people, will watch the news and then replay fear stories.
Hmm.
And then she was like, I'm really scared for you and your profession. And she was just sharing what this politician said. And yeah, and I was just able to say, I don't remember the exact words, but like, Mom, you couldn't know this without me telling you, so you're not doing anything wrong. But my body doesn't operate optimally when it's in fear. And I have a sense you probably want me to be able to operate optimally. Um,
Nice.
so
Wow.
they're so nice.
Wow.
True. Yeah.
That is so nice. I might use that.
Yeah, I feel really nice.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, because I'm recognizing, I was able to tell a friend this too, who invited me to an event. Like with parents, it was just there's not any better or worse. Like, man, people love my mom. They love my mom. It was just overexposure to like certain energies, you know? You get like overexposed and underexposed just because there's years and years and years of proximity. And the same for her with me, you know? So it's not that those energies are better or worse, it's just overexposure. And so I have a friend who like invited me to an event, and I was able to tell him, I can't, the event sounds fun and I love you, but there's a way that you are that is very similar to my mom, and this body's been overexposed to that. So
Nice.
I can't be the person that goes with you, not because I'm better or you're worse or anything like that. It's just, it needs wants less exposure to that. Um,
That's so beautiful.
mhm.
It's so simple, direct, honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And he was asked, he's like, but I want to be redirected. I want to learn. I was like, that's great. I don't want to do that. Like that's
Yeah.
great that you want that, but I'm not up for being
Mm,
your,
nice.
your rails or whatever, your boundaries are.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not my idea of a fun time on a Saturday night. So,
No,
but
not
I
at
get it,
all.
and I appreciate that about him but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it's easier. It's been easier in some ways. And then also it's just, uh, mm, more and more un unrecognizable. Like the moment is like more and more unrecognizable. It feels like generally, regularly chaotic. And
Mm-hmm.
I also have a new friend. So I have these people come over now on Sundays. Um, and basically both of us before whatever you want to call it, I think in circles it's called like the initial shift or whatever the fuck. But like before that, we were basically both the exact trigger for each other. Um, and and it's been a blast to be able to like talk about how the conditioned people were,
Mm,
learn like what was behind it. Because
mm,
I could never, I was so baffled by vengefulness.
mm,
It just was so baffling for me. And
mm,
I wanted to like comprehend, like, what, how does that choice get made? Like, I don't understand. I just don't understand it. I've
mm,
learned so much from her about what that was about and what she was
mm.
actually wanting. And then I could
Oh.
see, with my dad who had those basically uh like borderline rage, it was like there was like this vengeful reactivity, like this entitlement to be just very, very cruel. And then a partner who was like that, a client who was like that. And so I'm learning like, and she was describing like what she really wanted was somebody to be more powerful and like super, super clear and just like knock that shit off. Like, and it's funny
Mm,
because with a partner I had who had those traits, I would have those thoughts, those phrases would literally come up in my mind, like knock that shit off. But it's like that, I'm not allowed to say that, right?
mm,
And the default for this character was to like be more and more open. And
mm,
for her, that was like so triggering being around people that like she
mm.
hated people who would do that. Like just
Yeah.
be like so soft. Like it made her crazy. It felt like
Mm,
manipulation and you know. So we both like would experience people like each other as gamey or manipulating, right?
mm.
Historically. So yeah, so I'm having a great time.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah, it's been really fun being friends with her and being able to talk about this stuff
Oh,
about it. Yeah, and just ask really pointed questions like, what the fuck is that? Like, what are people doing? And of course, I
yeah.
can't know 100% for sure, but like, yeah, it's, and we, like, I don't know for her, like, we're still getting noticed, but like, I'll have like trauma responses in just hearing about it,
Mm,
but she's safe. So like, I
mm-hmm.
can have the trauma response in front of her, or she can have, like, she's had moments where she feels really like the ground just drops out when I'm
Yeah.
describing.
Yeah.
Um, but we're like up for it.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
so beautiful.
yeah, it's been fun.
I always wondered, since what happened to you when you were
Mhm.
young and stuff, did you ever have a period where you were enraged and disgusted or needing?
I had like it would be like that. It's really kind of classic, uh, a codependent, like what do they call it? The exploding doormat.
I don't know what that is.
Like you get walked on, you get walked on, and you explode. But
Oh,
I would
okay.
never let anybody see it. I wouldn't even,
Uh-huh.
sometimes I wouldn't even let myself see it. Like that's the dissociative disorder. But I do remember one time I went to this retreat slash convention thing for people with sex problem, codependency and sex addictions like that in Washington State. And they did a ceremony with candles where you'd like light a candle for someone or for yourself, whatever. And I put one on the altar for my brother, but I didn't light it because he's dead. That was just like a symbol or something. And someone came along and lit it. And
Mm.
I like ran out of the building and into the woods and I was like, bring it, God, fuck you. If you're gonna kill me, if you're like, I was like just running into the darkness. Like if you're gonna like animals are gonna maul me, if I'm gonna get raped, if I'm gonna break a leg and die out here, like I'm just like, fucking bring it, you know.
Mm.
And then I end up running. I ran, it was on the water, and I like ran to this pier. I was just running, and somebody saw me running. Like I was running, I jumped in, but somebody was yelling, like, no, because there was like a jellyfish, like there were tons of jellyfish. It was an
Oh
unusual.
shit.
Anyway, I never got stung, but it was like this
Oh
insane.
wow.
Did have like this insane tizzy where I just like ran out to
Mm.
the pier in the middle of the night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what it looked like.
Mm.
I, yeah.
When was that?
Um, 20 years ago. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now anger's pretty, it's fun now. It's enjoyable. I
Hmm.
had a friend, um, I showed up at a meeting and he's like, I got a bone to pick with you. And I got so excited. I was like, awesome. It
Nice.
ended up being a joke. He's like, your cookies were so good. I want more or something. I was like, oh, I was like, I thought he was like really mad. I was really excited to hear what he was mad about, but it was like a joke. Um,
Oh.
yeah. And then there was this guy that I've had like waves of attraction for. uh it's like I could kind of tell he came to a meeting. I could tell and he ended up sharing about it, like having resentments come up about his ex or something. And it was so fucking sexy. Like seeing him angry was like hot. It was, yeah. Um,
Nice.
yeah. So it's like the relationship to anger is changing.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
yesterday I ran a fundraiser. And so a number of us like were made a meal together. And this fella, uh my experience of him is uh he's like on a big high and low ride. Um, and I don't want to be on the ride. Um, so there'll be moments where there's like a dissonance because yeah, but again, there's just like honesty about it. Like I don't want to be on that ride. But I'm excited for you, you know, or whatever. So yesterday originally he was going to make all his food at his place and then bring it, but he didn't have much space. So he asked to come here and prep. And it was like my whole kitchen just exploded and there was like food everywhere and like
Yeah.
using all the dish. And it was like, and and then he was asking me to help, and he has like a broken arm and all this stuff. And I was like, no, I'm gonna go sit. I came here and I just sat down. I just sat down. He can have his explosion in the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the night, he was in so much pain because he had kind of overdone it and he had his broken arm. And so then he's like, I don't think I can help clean up. I was like, yeah, that's about right. That sounds about right. You know.
Oh man.
So then I'm just, mad cleaning and it was really enjoyable. Like, fucking fucker,
God damn it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So now anger is it's like tasty.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's similar for me too.
Mhm.
It's just part of whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't remember how I used to think it was dangerous. I don't know. But yeah, there was a fella too at one of the meetings who was like, went into a bit of a rage, but he was owning it. Like he was fully feeling it. And
Mm.
somebody else got triggered and then he apologized at the next meeting. And he came and talked to me. And I was like, that's the safest I've felt in a meeting in a long time. Like I thought,
Nice.
awesome. Like you were just
Yeah.
really all the way in your
Hmm.
experience, and telling the truth about it.
It's so beautiful when you see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so real.
Yeah, that I think that's beautiful what you said. It's like that's the safest I felt. It's like that is the safest you can be, just honest and true and unsuppressed and uh because it's still there. If it's
Yeah,
suppressed, it's just
exactly.
twisted
Yeah.
and strange.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so now he keeps like coming up to me and reiterating. He did it yesterday at the event. Like when I'm around you, it's just whoa. It's so nice. It's just whoa.
Mm.
That's nice.
Oh,
I like
nice.
it too. Yeah, sweet.
That's great.
Yeah, it's nice when it's nice. And it's nice when it's awful too. So it can be so
Mm,
awful.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just like this undertone of humor, no matter how bad it
Mm.
gets.
Yeah, nice.
Mhm.
For me too. It's
Mhm.
funny when it's so bad. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's, when you said that thing about your mom, it does kind of remind me like I've always had this thing where I was close enough to my mom where she was comfortable enough with me to control me, to try and make her the way that she wanted me to be.
Yeah,
But to the outside world, to everybody else, she was this sweet, kind,
yeah.
very accommodating, just like a different side of her. And
Mhm.
so everybody would tell me, whenever I would say anything about my mom, some people would just be like, oh, but she's so kind. Basically, like, how can you say anything bad about her ever?
Mhm.
And I wasn't very sure of myself then. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe you're right. Like, I'm just being really judgmental and like mean. But now I'm like, that's really like, I know she's not doing it on purpose, but she does care way too much about what other people think about her.
Yeah,
Um, But yeah, it's like she only shows a specific side to people, and a lot of people are like that. And so
yeah,
you don't really truly see, like, no, she can be very controlling and manipulative and very selfish. Sometimes she doesn't think about me and what I need and what feels true and right for me. It's just all about her.
yeah,
And it's not nice to be around that all the time. It's like it is overexposure of like shit that I don't like. And
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I can see how she'd be like, my mom really does think that what she's seeing that I should do is good, you know.
mhm.
To her, it really is good to like do this thing. But and in the
Yeah,
past, every time that that has been opted for, it's been just the worst. It's been absolutely the worst option for me.
exactly.
She could
Exactly.
not, there's no way she could know because this is it's so fucked up. Like people are born into families, right? And they're different people. So
Hmm.
there's just never like they're different people.
Yeah.
So the parents could offer what they have, like this is what works for me, but they're different people. That's it. It's like, yep, that's great, but we're different people.
Yeah. I mean, the fear thing that you mentioned, that is how most people operate, just through fear. It's like,
Mhm.
yeah, what's gonna happen with your job? Like you need to prepare this way and do this and do that. And my mom's the same way. And I'm like, chill. I don't care. It'll be what it is. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My mom wanted me to like start a blog about my like you're so good the way you describe your profession and all these things. And it's so logical. Like in like a math equation, that is a very logical, it's very
Mm.
logical. And that would be so highly, highly unpleasant for the body. But there's no
Yeah.
way she could know that this body
Mm.
would suffer immensely trying to make that
Hmm.
happen.
Yeah.
It'd just be misery all around. But the
Right.
idea is a great idea. It's,
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Same with me. What my sister says to me and my mom and probably my dad too. It's like it all makes total sense. I get it. Most people are doing that, but like my body just cannot function that way.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like when death isn't scary, like it's yeah, I can't yeah, I understand. Like keep everything alive, keep yourself alive, keep yourself housed, keep yourself in fancy, comfortable things like it. That like doing a blog makes sense with that.
Mm.
And when it's not when there's not like a strong preference to be alive, then there's actual opting for comfort. Like it's direct
Exactly.
something.
Exactly. Yeah. And you also don't know if that will make everything secure either. You
Yeah.
just don't know. I mean, yeah, maybe that's what the mass majority are doing and promoting, and it feels logical and rational, but also I'm at a point where I'm like, does it actually work? I'm
Yeah.
just You're just in fear all the time, controlling and acting from a very limited place, and I'm just chilling here. I'm just like, it'll be what it is. If the world ends, like, I'm good. I don't even give a fuck. Like, that's how much peace there is. And uh,
Yeah, there's like not giving a fuck here, but there's still like there's openness to there still being giving a fuck because there's not anyone that does. Like if like say there's like war
mhm.
in the United States, like it starts today, and maybe the West Coast where I live gets bombed first or whatever.
Yeah, you would give a fuck. Yeah, do
Well, yeah,
something,
whatever's
maybe.
gonna
Who
it'll
knows?
happen. It's gonna go like this will go ah,
Exactly.
weird.
Yeah, you just don't know.
It'll do
It could be
something, right?
anything.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
but prepare, like trying to prepare for that is insane.
Yeah.
It feels insane. Like I
Right,
don't,
right.
there's no way to know what I could be a total schmuck and like run, try to like run over my neighbor's kid. Like, get fuck away! I gotta run. I could trample, my pets. Like I don't know how
Yeah,
I'll
who
be.
knows?
I might try to rescue the whole neighbor. Like I don't. I have no. I might just freeze in place or commit
Yeah.
suicide immediately. There's just no way to know how it's gonna go.
Exactly.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. So funny.
Yeah, there's no point in predicting or planning in that way. Just like,
Hmm.
it'll be what it is. Body
Yeah.
will react whatever way it does.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Fucking delight. This is a fucking delight. Thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Sarah.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure. Paige, I'm gonna get to you. I'm gonna pee. Take a little break. Hey, Paige. So good to see you.
Yeah, that was so funny and nice to hear Sarah say that at the end.
Yeah.
I have a coworker that is like a prepper, and it's kind of funny, like listening to him describe all
Mm.
those ideas that he has in his head.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, they can be intense.
Yeah. Also, something that she said, like how in meetings, like there's like a yes and a no, and like people are like constantly like reordering like what's acceptable and what's not acceptable. Um, like in my job, like I say things sometimes, I'm like, oh, that wasn't, I don't even realize that, like, oh, previously that was like a no. And now I'm saying these things, and like you can like see it in people. Like ideas shift on things. Um,
Mm.
like a really like probably like one of the most difficult parts of my job right now is like scheduling, and I have a lot of open shifts, and like in meetings, like there's it's like higher ups are always strategizing like how to get our the people that are currently working like to work more, and like
Oh man.
yeah, I feel like I always get put in like a tough spot where um like a person is asking for it off, and I'm like defending them, and they're like, and then they like view me as like a bad supervisor because I'm not, because they I want to give them that time off.
Mm. Yeah, that's strange when it's like in built into the fabric of the work culture to work intensely and see that as valuable rather than if you want to call it like just healthy work-life balance where it doesn't bleed over into your whole life and consume your the time you need to rest, to be a functional human and even a decent worker. It's like there should be distinctions and limits for sure. And the expectations like at your job sound ridiculous. Or the assumption that you will give your life to this, basically.
And sometimes people will like say something like super honest, and that's when like my head turns, and I'm like, yeah. um and a lot of that does
Mm.
tend to be like anger.
Mm. Yeah, nice. Anger at like how things are run or yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so honest. It's like that's the appropriate response. Yes.
Yeah. Or even um like I have a coworker that was like, I don't know, I also have loud neighbors.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
um
you were telling me. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, what is with neighbors, huh? Why can't they be?
Yeah. Yeah, I it was funny because like I haven't really, they've moved in like 2 months ago. Um I was like, I've been giving them some grace, but then I saw someone just like, it was them. They like threw a bunch of trash out their car and drove away. And we have like a group chat of our neighbors. I just live in like a fourplex, and I sent a picture of it, and I was like, whoever did this, shame on you. And, like that was my breaking point. Like, why would you just like throw trash out your car driveway?
Mm, yeah.
Yeah. Um, but I don't see them enough to like they also have like people over all the time. So I don't know exactly who it is that's
Right.
technically living over there. And then I have this one lady that lives downstairs, and everyone knows that like you can hear through walls here. And I feel like she is like being loud when she's having sex on purpose.
Oh
Like I feel like she
no.
is aware that everyone can hear her. Um,
Yeah, that's disturbing.
yeah. And like how uncomfortable to bring that up to someone, you know?
Can you be more quiet when you have sex? Please.
Yeah. I have said because she's like had like uh multiple guys. And one night she was like knocking on my door and was saying like she can't get in. And like I made this comment. I was like, it's a lot more peaceful being single, girlfriend. Um, that was my one comment towards her because it does just seem so chaotic what she's
Oh my
doing.
God. Yeah,
But
that's crazy.
you know,
Like long time ago when I don't know how old I was, maybe 10 or something. Um, we would have loud neighbors. She would have loud sex, and she also had like multiple guys. We just don't know, but my parents were there. And it was so funny because she would just be really, really loud, and our whole family would just like have to hear it.
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like whenever like a sex scene comes on when I'm with my parents, like it's so uncomfortable. I can't imagine like people actually
Yeah.
next door.
I didn't know anything at the time, so I was like, huh.
Yeah, I say things sometimes at work and then like people agree with me and then like the next week it's back to the same thing. Like nothing really actually changes.
Yeah. I think most people generally sense what is healthy and what is right, but to actually do that and not compromise yourself and not take anything different is just like a totally different thing that most people aren't capable of. Yeah, sticking
It's really
to.
hard. Yeah. It's really hard like being like a middle manager and like taking like the opinions from people telling me how things should be and then like validating the people beneath me and I'm just like in an
Mm,
uncomfortable awkward position all the time.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then I'm also the one that has like all responsibility for what my staff are doing and not doing. um
Mm, yeah, needing to tell them certain things.
yeah.
It's kind of an impossible situation, honestly, because the only change that will happen, it has to come from the top. But if that doesn't change, then the friction will be there because it's not right how you guys are being treated and how much you're being used and how little you're getting paid. It's just not right. So,
It sucks because like it's not like a big company. It's like it's me and two other supervisors and then two people above us and then one big boss. And the two people above the supervisors, they're always like changing the stories to make it seem better to the big boss. And so nothing, of course, nothing changes because he's not hearing what's actually happening.
yeah. Yeah, that sounds very familiar to what I had to deal with. My bosses had shareholders that they had to please. They were getting paid by them. So like they also didn't have a choice. But what they would tell us is like it was so manipulative that it was just a grandiose, beautiful, positive outlook on things. But in reality, what it actually took to do the work was working 7 days a week and not having a life and working overtime like crazy and not getting paid. And, but they would never really truly acknowledge that. It was just, this is what needs to happen. And it's so great. And it's going to be great. And
Yeah, it just sucks because there's just like a lot of heart in like what we do. Like people have strong opinions and people um but everyone's saying it with the layers of providing the best care. Um
mm,
like those ideas. And like I say things like, well, I don't have the right opinions. Um
yeah, because it's true. And neither does anyone else.
and I don't know why I still am in this position. I don't know.
I can understand it though. It's hard to not care about the people you're working with um, and helping.
We got a new client. I think the last time I spoke with you, I was kind of nervous because she's the youngest client that we've had. She's about to turn 13. But she is like so incredible. She's so like honest and funny and just does not give a fuck. I just um yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's unfortunate that providing the best care for the clients means that you have to take care of yourself pretty well, you know? Like you just have to be well rested and that will just automatically improve general mood and how you are with your clients. And
That seems like the most obvious thing.
it
But
is, yeah.
instead it's like, well, we need to be on top of this and this and this. It's just like more and more and more instead of the opposite, you know?
Hmm. I know that's how backwards the world is. That's how nonsensical people actually are. It's like, yeah, you're not really doing the best thing. You're so lost that it's very counterproductive. Yeah. There isn't like the prioritizing of the human body.
And it's like crazy to see how like easily people can be tricked into thinking that they want to work all the time.
Hmm. Yeah, it's disturbing. Yeah, the work environment is just a small aspect of it because you're kind of told that everywhere.
Yeah, I feel like whenever like my parents are like, you should just get a different job, it's hard for me to like explain to them that like I don't think that there are different problems at other workplaces.
Mhm. Places can have different work cultures where it's not a guarantee, but hopefully if that is prioritized, you'll see that even during the interview process, like your mental health and your well-being matters. Um, Maybe it's harder in the US, but I don't know. I see my sister and I'm like, yeah, she has a pretty good job where they like really take care of her and don't just prioritize output and profit.
I just don't even want to think about like, because I feel like my field, like every place is understaffed. Um, and I don't want to think about, I don't even want to think about like, I told you I want to be a mailman.
Yeah.
That's my only other idea.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I'm not saying that to encourage you to get another job, but I'm just saying like there's different stuff out there. Um, but I think that in the field that you're in, it is grueling because they feed, I don't know if this is the accurate way of saying it, but they will feed on the people that are drawn to doing that work, which is really caring. They want to make a difference. They want to give. Um, it can feed off of that more easily because you might be subtly more willing to um, yeah, overextend.
I don't even really want to be sitting here talking about my job, but it's like the most loud thing in my life.
Hmm. I understand. Yeah, it's all consuming. Yeah, when I was at my job that I described before, it was that's all I could talk about. It was a huge trauma in my whole life. Took up all the mental space and couldn't think or do anything else, really. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with anything that you're saying. It all makes sense. And you're allowed to feel exactly the way you do. And you don't have to leave.
There are people that like I'm thinking of one staff in particular who has worked there for like 10 years, which is like the longest we could keep staff. Um, and she just does overnights like 3 nights a week, and she doesn't pick up any extra hours, and seems like a really nice fit for her.
Hmm. That's nice.
You know,
I think that's the hard part of this stuff. It's like, even if you plan to say no to certain things, like, no, I'm just not willing to do that. You might have a period where you're still, there's still the discomfort of, is this okay? Maybe it's easier to just do it rather than saying no and sitting with the discomfort of feeling bad that I said no. Um, do you think that there are certain things that you can say no to that really just isn't part of your job description, or it's like way too much, asking for way more than
I mean, I've been pretty firm on like some of my paperwork is behind, and I'm like I can't get caught up on my paperwork when I'm working this many hours, when I'm doing this many direct support hours, and I just don't have time. Um, and they've been like somewhat receptive to that, I guess. Like they know that, but it's just hard because right now, like everyone is overworking.
Mhm. How does it feel when I say it'll get done when it gets done? There's no rush.
I love that. Their response would be, "Well, state's gonna come in and I don't know." The big thing is it's a certification year, so um,
Oh,
like they come in and they check, and I just got I don't know. I don't know. And they say things like, "You're not getting your paperwork done." It's like, I don't know. I don't know. None of it makes any sense.
it's not possible for you to do everything. It's not your job to say it can get done. I could do it. I could just sleep less and like do that instead. That's not your job to do that to yourself. it's not your responsibility if the state doesn't fund this anymore. It's more like, this is just really unsustainable, and you basically want me to get sick in order for this to continue. Like you want everybody to get sick and become more mentally ill and be more unable to support those that we want. Um, that's not my fault. If this whole organization is unsustainable, that's not my fault. This is the strange thing about humans. It's like they will get off on an idea. So it feels really good to have this idea of we're helping people. We're doing good. It's an idea. It's not true help. It's not true. It's not coming from a true place of really caring for these people. It's more of a surface level place because if it came from a deeper place, they would feel how the whole organism works. The whole organization is one thing. And if it is not sustainable for everyone involved, that is not it's not good for anybody. You're not helping anybody. You're helping your vision. You're helping your um delusions stay afloat as long as possible by using and just extracting as much as you can from your employees without paying them more and expecting them to feel bad if they don't keep up with these ridiculous expectations that serve the people up top. They do not serve you. The actual people there doing all of the work.
Speaking of work, I just got a call from work, but I hit ignore.
Nice. You know, look out for yourself. You're really important.
Yeah, like the layers of like people getting off on ideas. Like like well, I just do this with clients and it makes them work. They listen to me because I do this. And that makes them feel like it's things that clients at the end of the day probably aren't wanting to do.
Mm. Yeah, people don't really know what they're talking about. They don't really know what they're doing. But you know, overall, it sounds like you're doing great in the sense that you are saying when things are too much. I hope you don't feel like the complainer or the person that can't keep up, or because it's not true. You're the sane one, you're the healthy one, you're the one that has a voice and brave enough to say what does not feel right.
Yeah, I think it what gets me most is like when people think that like when I get this subtle like energy of like, oh, you're young and dumb and stupid and from my boss.
Um, yeah, that sucks because it's the opposite. He's probably more brainwashed to think and believe and function a certain way, and you're less like that. Yeah, just remember that he doesn't know what he's doing either. Can I ask how it felt when you told your supervisor that you just don't have time to do the paperwork, or it's just a lot?
Um, well, it felt nice because I also had another supervisor that was on the same page as me, and we were both like, yeah.
Oh, nice. Good. So you had support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's harder when like I feel like any meeting that I have with him and it's just like one on one, like none of my points to him are landing. Like
Mm. Maybe he feels like he can dismiss you more easily without more people. Yeah, that's gross behavior because you're very valuable and you're very important.
It's never like my attention is never just able to focus on one thing and do it really good. Like it's always split between 50 other different things. And that's really sad because like the small things about my job that I like really enjoy doing. Like I create menus and so like every night they have something else to eat and I figure out what the clients really like and I grocery shop and I love doing that part of my job.
Mm,
Um,
nice.
but then there are just like other aspects that make it like so suffocating where
Yeah. The administrative work and the dealing with the politics of it all.
oh,
I think you're doing incredible though.
um,
I really mean it. Like when you told me your age and stuff, I'm like, yeah, you're so much more far ahead than I was when I was much older than you. I think it's cool. It's good practice. I know it sucks, but it's good practice to stand up for yourself and to keep doing it and know that they will probably just try to take advantage of you and make you feel like you are less important and your ideas and thoughts and feelings don't matter. It's like a almost business strategy, which is really unfortunate and sad, but it's not true, you know? Stand in what you believe to be true, which is the healthiest thing. It's the most sane thing. You're just prioritizing the human body, like what it needs just on a basic level to be treated with respect, um, and just valued. Everybody should be treated that way. People will try to get away with whatever they can because they're not the ones doing the grunge work.
I appreciate you, Suzanne.
Yeah, I appreciate you too, Paige. Yeah. And I hope you know that you are making an impact to to the clients, you know. I always see it in your eyes that you like love them and it's so sweet.
They're pretty great.
Mm-hmm. They sound great. You're sleeping okay? Do you feel like you can rest sometimes?
Um, I go through phases. Right now, it's kind of bad. Also, doing like overnights at houses where like individuals can wake up at any time and it's not a pleasant wake up all the time. You kind of have to
Yeah,
be on edge.
right.
And the hours are weird. And like I slept all day yesterday. And then like when I'm able to, I always like sleep as long as I can.
Yeah.
And um you know,
Hmm. Yeah. Nothing needs to change, but what you just described just reminds me of kind of how I was when I was at that crazy job. And I was willing to let my body take the burden and compromise itself and go to substances and just cope, because it's like it's a lot of stress, it's a lot to do, it's a lot on your mind constantly and to juggle and manage. And it's a lot of stress. And so a part of it just makes complete sense. And a part of me also wants to say, protect your body. Because I think you deserve better. How you feeling?
It's so nice that this space exists.
Hmm. It's so nice that people like you exist. You can let the tears come. You don't have to hold it back. It's just a really rough and exhausting spot to be in where there's such a tenderness there and a real care for people and just wanting to support them. And then there's the harshness and cruelness of the world and certain aspects of business that just kill it, really. It like suffocates it. For some reason, I just want to say, like, it's possible. It's just possible to stand up for yourself, to know that you're not in the wrong, to know that you're doing the right thing. You're standing up for what's right. And it doesn't need to be all the time, but if it happens, then great. And it's not to put burden on you of like to change the organization or to change other people. It's just, no, you do it. You just do it because it's right for yourself. But I have no doubt that there are people looking at you. And even if it's not said, they are kind of like, thank God Paige is here because she's probably the most sane one here. Because maybe they're not brave enough to stand up yet.
my favorite quotes that I discovered recently was, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a sick society."
Yeah, I
Really
like that
like,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's so spot on. Yeah, if we were all more in tune with the body, it would be very clear in telling us how absolutely insane and twisted society makes us. And sometimes the most well-adjusted appearing people, they just learned many, many different coping mechanisms or uh, ways to get by. And I'm not saying that as a wrong thing. I'm just saying like it just takes a toll to appear that way, to function that way. You can be honest with me. Where do you feel like you're at? Did anything that I say put pressure on you or make you feel like, yeah, I don't want to do that, or that's not where I am? I just want to know, like, yeah, okay. Yeah, because I want you to come here whenever you need or want and just feel comfortable to express whatever's going on and however you feel. And for some reason, I also want to say, don't mimic how I am with everybody because some people do not deserve this. They're just not receptive to it. So they need something else. So probably with your bosses and stuff, depending, um, more firmness is needed, not more acceptance and like allowance.
I think I struggle with I guess kind of like the doormat analogy. Like firmness just comes out, um, not always at the greatest times, or in the most like way I want to actually express it. But then like I struggle like know. This job, this supervisor is just such a, because then I'm like I even struggle like telling my staff like directly like a way to do things because like you might have your own way of doing anything and I don't really mind. There's nothing. You also I don't really mind if they make mistakes. Like yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
happens.
Yeah.
And that's just like not conducive to it's just such a sick company.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, it's a really hard thing to balance. This kind of like, well, humans just make mistakes. Their error is just like part of it, contrasted with the you got to do it right and perfect.
And like it's not even like productive to hold people to because it's impossible. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're just hurting the culture every time we do it in that way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then like I don't know. We have some like newer, younger staff. Um,
New people came in. They hired new people.
yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
we're constantly overturning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a bad sign. Ugh, it becomes so unproductive because then you have to retrain people and that takes up time. And yeah. Yeah, you might as well just make the overall culture better so that people don't quit so often. That's why it makes no sense.
Yeah, and like what like I've noticed is like people have like a resounding ability to like sit with and be with people who are having some crazy behaviors. Because like they know that like um in a way that's just like part of your job. And
Mm.
um
Tolerating crazy behavior by the clients or
by
also
the
the
clients.
Mhm.
Yeah. In a way that's like I don't know.
In a way that's like what?
I think it's empowering for people to get to experience that in some ways.
Mm,
Be able to trust that they know like what to do in a situation like that. Um,
mm.
which is what like I hope that like I guess I see it in myself. Like it's pretty amazing that like I'm able to be in all of these complex situations every day and
I
um
agree.
yeah.
Yeah. It takes a tremendous amount of openness and flexibility and spontaneity and adjusting ability to adjust. And yeah, it's incredible. Yeah. And also make sure to take care of yourself because it probably does energetically take the toll, somehow, sometimes.
Yeah, right now I'm in this spot where it's like I can do it one more month. Um,
Hmm.
and then like on the weekends, because I'm like through the week, I'm like, oh, I'm working so much. I don't have enough time. And then I get to the weekend and then it's like, oh my gosh, all this paperwork. And then I'm like,
Mm.
ah, I'll just quit tomorrow. It's okay.
Uh-huh.
And then I start the week and I'm like, oh, but the clients, it's not so bad, Paige. You can get through it. And it's
Yeah.
just a cycle.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in an important way, but actually, I do think that your body is processing a lot through those cycles kind of need to happen. It just makes sense for the body to sort of go through those motions and feel all those things. And uh, yeah, because it is kind of relieving sometimes where when it's like there is an out, you can quit or you can step down or something like that. There are options and stuff, and that's sometimes nice to have in the background, knowing that this isn't that important and significant, and you can't and shouldn't expect yourself to do it perfectly. And it's okay. You're just learning. It's hard. Sometimes it's enjoyable being with clients and seeing them and seeing how you like respond. Um,
It's crazy that like most of the time I'm talking and people are just like, huh? And then I come here and I could say like the most vague thing and you'll be like, I get it. I just don't have that.
nice. Is there anything else you want to express or you feel okay?
My cats are still doing good.
Oh, good. That's always nice. Glad to hear that.
Oh, it was nice to talk with you. It was
Yeah.
nice to hear everyone else too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thanks so much, Paige. I really appreciate it.
I
It's always so
appreciate
sweet
you.
to connect with you.
I'm glad these meetings are available.
Yeah. Take care of yourself. Do something you enjoy.
I think I'm gonna take a bath later.
Yeah. Nice. Good choice.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Paige. All right, everybody. Have a nice rest of your Sunday. Lots of love to you all. Bye.